Hi everyone, this is Niroshan Madam Pitike, an Enterprise Agile coach and a keynote speaker. Today, what I thought is talking about something that is very important at the beginning of the year for all of us. So that is simply the execution. I'm sure all of us have big plans. All of us want to achieve as much as possible within this year, the new year 2020. Uh, Based on my observations personally as well, one thing that I have observed is that one thing that I have found is that we mostly struggle with the execution strategies. So today, I'm gonna share with you two agile strategies that will definitely help you. So stay tuned, keep connected to this particular live streaming. So I'm live on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as YouTube. So you can tune into any of these platforms. So I'm gonna interact with you in all the three platforms as well. So to get started, I just want you to do one thing. I want you to put down your personal vision for 2020, right? Why I ask this from you is because most of the time I find that we try to do a lot of things. We want to do a lot of work within a given year, but one of the problems we may have is the clarity. Example, as an individual, if I'm not very clear what I'm trying to do personally, right? My bigger goal for the year, even for few years for that matter, the amount of work that I can do in line to that particular big goal is little, almost none. So one thing that all of us have to do in terms of being successful in any given time frame, for that matter, this year 2020, is to start with a clear vision, right? Vision is basically a bigger goal, right? That is the biggest goal that you should have as a person. So think of what you want to become. Think of the bigger goal that you want to achieve within few years time. So what I do is I think about 10 to 15 years and think, where do I want to head in 15 years or 10 years time? So that will give me some indication about where I want to head, right? So this is a bigger goal. This is not a narrowed goal like saying I want to be a software engineer. I want to be a singer. So this is like thinking big, right? Dreaming big and thinking the best version of yourself, right? So I'm going to take you through some of these things. For example, uh, I put down this particular personal vision 3 years ago, saying, let's make an impact to the society, the people around me. So that gave me a bigger scope, right? That gave me enough room for me to see what should I do. Because if I imagine, I put something like, I want to be the best project manager even. I want to be the best head of delivery within a given community, right? Best agile coach within given community. That's, for me, that is not big enough. A bigger goal for me is something like what I said, right? I want to make an impact to the people around me working on my passionate area. So that is a bigger vision. That what it does is it pulls me into what I'm doing. When I have a lot of challenging times, struggles, when I don't know what to do, that is like the guideline for me. That is the guiding path, right? That will pull me into that and say, hey, Niro, you got to work on this bigger goal, right? It's okay that you are failing on one particular initiative or quite a few, but you got to get back to the track. So that is the importance of having a bigger goal. So, but today, my hope is not to talk about that, but to give you clear execution strategies. So I'm gonna talk about two personal agile strategies that allows you to execute effectively. So let's get started. So I want you to, I'm gonna just log into LinkedIn and see who is there. So if you're in LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube for that matter, what I want you to do is to start typing your biggest goal for 2020, right? Please type that in. With that, we should be able to start. So let me just have a look at Facebook and see whether, so I'm gonna just log into this. Okay, so there are quite a few colleagues watching this. Thank you for joining. So my ask for you at this point is put down your goal. Hopefully it's not going to be a confidential one, right? Your goal for 2020. So I'm gonna guide you through to refine it and get the best execution strategy decided yourself at the end of this particular live streaming. So again, please put down your personal goal for 2020. So if you put that down, I think that will help you to make the best out of this particular live streaming session. Right. So while you're putting that into the comment section, I'm gonna move on. So let's get started. Okay. So where could we start? Now, first, let me just give you a quick briefing what Agile can offer in terms of your personal growth, personal efficiency. Agile is a mindset. Agile is a mindset which is primarily based on 3 pillars. So in the entire Agile mindset approach works around 3 pillars, right? So whenever I talk about Agile, that is why I want to start, right? So these 3 pillars are simply number 1, transparency, number 2, inspection, number 3, adaptability. It's all about adapting to the changes, adapting to the changing situations. So think about you. Your 2020 is not going to be a straight line. It has never been. Therefore, it's important that you adopt an approach that allows you to plan something, go about it, try it out, and then based on how it works, to adapt yourself to suit the changing situation. So this is all about Agile, right? Again, so 3 things, right? So number 1 is the transparency. So if you have been Agile personally, if you want to adopt some of the personal agility strategies, personal Agile strategies, number 1 that you need to ensure is that what happens around you is visible enough for you and for the people who are working with you. For example, in your family setting, anyone working with you together to achieve something, right? That's called a family anyway. So in that family, share sufficient details about your planning, about your execution, about the changes that happens around your priorities with those people. More importantly, you need to have clear visibility into what happens around you, what priorities you have, what obstacles you come across. So that is important. With that, start inspecting, start investigating what happens around you. For example, if something works, right, see the reasons why exactly that work for you. So try to identify the best practices, things that really work for you, so retain them, right? On the other hand, if there are any problematic areas, try to understand what doesn't work. Then go deeper into the root cause, identify the root cause of the problem. So with that, adapt to the situation and learn from it, right? So there can be an action item coming out of a challenging situation, right? Where you decide, okay, next time when I do this, I'm gonna act this way. This is my action item for the next time when I try this. So that is basically the second thing, inspection. And adaptation is also, following that, right? When you have set of action items, you're gonna adapt to the changing situation through those action items. So with that, we should be able to go about it, right? So again, if you have just joined, my request for you is to put down your 2020 goal. Why? I think that is the starting point, right? If you haven't figured the goals that you want to achieve in 2020, My humble request for you who wants to do great in this year is to be clear on that, put that down, make that visible somewhere. So that will give you some guideline to operate within this year. All right. So I don't see anything, but that's okay. Let's move on. So let me have a look at Facebook. So I can see there are 14 people watching. Thank you for being there. So if you're in a position to do interact, please do so, because that's the best way of participate in this particular live streaming, because I want to make this interactive as much as possible, so that it's not just one way communication. That will not really help, right? Anyway, I'm just going to proceed. So be clear about this, be clear about the goals that you want to achieve in 2020, and then that will give you a starting point. With that, what I'm going to talk about today is something called Kanban. Kanban is an agile tool that allows you to achieve certain things, benefits. Now, if you do not have a Kanban, what you may have personally is a to-do list, right? I'm sure most of you who thought you want to do great, who want to be really successful in 2020, should have come up with a to-do list. Fair enough. I think that's a good starting point. So if you can be clear, what are the things that you want to get done within 2020, that is a really good starting point, right? So I'm going to guide you to get that to the next level. I'm going to help you to convert that to-do list into a Kanban. So what Kanban does is it's a visualization technique, right? It's a visualization technique which allows you to show your priorities for the people who are involved in particular project or an initiative. So in this case, we talk about the personal agility. We talk about being successful individually, personally. So this is called a personal Kanban board. Now, some time back, I came up with a customized version of a personal Kanban, and I branded it saying it's a family Kanban. So this is the same board, same concept that I have shared with my daughter, who actually started using that board. So that really helps her to keep track of what happens around her, the priorities, and then keep going. So couple of things, or quite a few things that need to be discussed here. Now, in terms of developing a Kanban board, I'm going to give you two options. The first option is it's better if you can have it physical, right? If you have a study room or an office room, or even for that matter, your master bedroom where you mostly use that space to create a physical board. And then, that is the board that you're going to put down your priorities and keep track of them. I'm going to tell you how it should look like, what are the things that you want to track it, so that, you can soon after this particular live streaming, you should be able to adopt and develop a Kanban board and start using it, right? Again, for those who just joined, so we are just talking about two strategies to get your execution strategies effective in 2020. So the first strategy that we are talking about is using a personal Kanban board, right? A Kanban board is a visualization technique that allows you to list down your priorities and keep track of the progress. And I'm just suggesting you one of the two options. Number one, try to create a physical Kanban in your personal space at your residence home. So I suggest a few places like your master bedroom, your office room, or your study room for that matter. So in my case, I have a family Kanban that is in my master bedroom. That's where we would be hanging around most of the time. So that allows us to see our priorities day in, day out. So that is option number one. The option number two is Trello. Hopefully, you would have heard of this particular tool called Trello. It's a website So note down the spellings. You can just Google it. It will just come as the first result in your search page. Trello.com, www.trello, TRELLO.com. It's a great tool that is easy to use, very easy to use, that allows you to keep track of your priorities. Yeah, so this is what I use at this point. There are also quite a few tools that can be used. There's another one called www.kanbantool.com. But my suggestion is just start with Trello. That is more than enough. The free version is more than enough for you to develop a greater Kanban board for you, which is a personal Kanban, right? So the second thing is, as I mentioned, why we need to have a Kanban? Mainly due to the fact that this tool allows you to visualize your priorities. Now, the psychologists recommend that anything that is really, really important for you got to be visible enough, got to be visualized enough, right? If you have seen, or if you remember your childhood, right? Our Montessori's, our kindergarten classes were the best space, right? You still remember what you saw there. So that follows the basic principle that the visualization is the best way to help people realize what is important for them. So when you see something all the time, day in, day out, that gets registered in your brain memory, right? That's how psychology works. So if you can get something displayed, visualized, visible, so that you see them day in, day out, I think it can do wonders, right? For example, so if you write your vision, put your vision down, personal vision down, a vision statement, paste that on your master bedroom wall, one of the walls. I mean, that can do wonders, because every time you forget about vision, that will remind you. Similarly, the Kanban board is a visualization technique. So that allows you to visualize the priorities. With that visualization, what it does is it gives you the transparency. What about transparency? Now, transparency is one single critical aspect that we all have to be aware of. Now, example, let's say, right, some of you want to be the best singer in this country, correct? When something is not visible, when something is not transparent enough, what it would mean is you have that in your mind, but it's not clear enough. It's not intensive enough, right? You remember that you need to be the best singer, but you just forget it, right? So visualization or the Kanban board will create the right transparency. Now, if I want to be the best singer in this country, for that matter, globally, I need to be aware where I stand, right? What competencies I possess at this point, What weaknesses do I have to address? What are the things that I have to do to become the best singer in the community, in the country, globally? So when you know that, okay, my wish is to become the best singer in this country, right? Again, I'm not a singer, not good at singing. I'm just taking this as a hypothetical example. Wanting to become the best singer, if I know that I'm not even a good singer, right? I can't really sing, then I will know that my dream of becoming the best singer in this country is far away. So that will allow me to realize that I have to do a lot more work. I have to be more disciplined. I have to practice day in, day out, right? So that is important. Otherwise, you will always keep thinking, I want to be the best singer, I want to be the best singer, I want to be the best singer, right? Say it many times, nothing will happen, right? If you know that this is where you stand right now, that will really give you a clarity about your position. So that allows you to adapt to the situation, right? If I want to be the greatest singer, I better do my homework. I better practice. I better go for a class. I better master my voice, right? So that's one thing. And also, if you are good at something, that will also give the right transparency. So it will tell you these are the things that you do well, right? So retain them. So while you are improving your weaknesses, retain the good things. Yeah. So that is the transparency we want to create. So it will mainly identify the bottlenecks. It will mainly allow you to identify the problematic areas. It will also tell you these are your good stuff. Retain them. Yeah, that is important. That gives you the clarity. So the next thing is prioritization. So Kanban will allow you to prioritize. So the problem with the to-do list is it's not really the right way to arrange your priorities. Why? When you have a Word document with 20 items in to-do list, what happens is uh, that will not allow you to adjust and change the priorities, reorder them, shuffle around your priorities, because it's difficult to manage. But the Kanban will facilitate that. So it's a prioritization technique as well, right? Through the visibility, you can easily prioritize. You know what priorities have to be focused. The third thing is it will also give you an indication of what is in progress tasks, what is pending. Now, another bottleneck that we all have is this. We tend to start tens and hundreds of things, but not trying to finish them. So limiting work in progress, limiting the things that are in progress is one of the critical strategies when you want to do great. Example, right? If I want to do 10 things, that's okay. But at one given point of time, there's a limit that I can do. So I need to figure that limit. If it's a team, if it's a family, there will be a limited number of things that you can achieve as a family, as a team, as a group, right? Or as a person. So need to figure that out. So your Kanban will allow you to do so. The next one is it will also show you the flow. Now, what the flow means is from the point you decide a priority up to the point you get that done, there will be multiple phases that you have to take it through. Example, it's in to-do list. Then you take it to the next stage that is in progress. So you work on it, complete it, and then pass it to the next level. That is, let's say, review. So you send your work to someone, wait for the review. So while you're waiting for your review, you put that into the review column. Once it's reviewed, then you make it done, right? So the person who reviews it says, this is great stuff. So you move that to the done. So that's the point. You can call it done. So your workflow is the set of stages that you have to go through from to do to done. So there can be multiple stages based on what intermediate steps that you want to take, right? So Kanban facilitates a method to control that flow, right? So if you are really effective, if you are a great singer, if you want to be the best singer, one thing that has to happen is you have to have a balanced flow. That means you have certain things in to-do list, you have certain things in progress, you have certain things in review, you have certain things in done column, right? If you are not effective, I can tell you what it looks like. So you may have a lot of things in to do, nothing is in progress, and nothing is in done, right? So it does not help. Example, if you may have 10 shows to be done, but if you do not work on any of them, you're not going to be effective. If you're not going to develop yourself. So Kanban gives that visualization. Through that visualization, you can prioritize, you can limit the work in progress, you can manage the workflow, right? Also, this is kind of a bonus tip. It will also allows you to limit the backlog. Trust me, this is one of the overlooked areas why we struggle individually as teams, as organizations. We may have hundreds and thousands of priorities to be done. Therefore, we are not really clear what exactly should be done because it's too much to handle. And when you have 100 things in your to-do list, imagine the time you have to take in order to do effective prioritization. So that does not help. So what you need to do is limit your work backlog, limit your to-do list. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you one strategy to tackle that at the end, right? After talking about the Kanban, all right? So let me have a look at Facebook. I'm currently on Facebook here. So I see one comment. Let me just have a look at. Oops. Well, look at that. And also, I see certain colleagues have shared that. Thanks a lot, because this can help your colleagues as well. So keep sharing, keep liking, because that's really helping people around, people in your network to see this particular live streaming. Okay, so I cannot read the comment though. So let me log into LinkedIn. This here. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I'm gonna answer any question you have in terms of your personal strategies that you think you need to start thinking about. So okay, so I can see a few people watching LinkedIn as well. All right, so keep typing if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to discuss here. I will try to pick them up during the session. So it's not going to be a lengthy session. I'm gonna just end up in another 10 to 15 minutes, not 15 minutes even. So my try is to get this as quick as possible, so that it's not so time consuming. So stay for the next 10 minutes. I'm gonna talk about one more critical strategy. Yeah, so I'm sure that's going to really help you to take your execution to the next level. All right, so let's have a look at now. Let me do one thing, right? I'm gonna share you. Gonna share you the screen so that no, that okay. Okay, right. So let me try, because this will help you to figure out. Right. Let me see whether it works. There's a little time delay, so give me a few seconds until I check whether the screen sharing works for you. Looks like not yet. That's from Kanchana. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your comment. Appreciate that. Okay, so Ishan Madhuranga, thanks for your comment. I was wondering about talking in public. I'm really shy. I need to overcome that. So yes, so don't worry. This is the most fearful feeling that anyone, almost all of us, go through at one stage of our life. And to tell you and give you the confidence that nothing that you should be worried about it. 85% of Americans is more scared to speak in an audience than die. So that's that critical, Ishan. So don't worry about. So I think even myself, when I started speaking in public, even in a small audience, I was shivering, right? So that's pretty normal. So you got to kind of start practicing. That's the only way you can overcome that as well. So one tip that I can give you is you got to start thinking intensively and tell your mind that I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. Tell it multiple times until you are really, really comfortable. So while you're telling that, you're kind of insisting that brain, you got to adjust. You got to help me to adapt to these situations. So That's the psychology game, right? That's a psychology game, and you got to play around that. So the next thing is find all the opportunities, right? For example, if you have an opportunity to talk in front of your friends, in front of your family, pick that. That is the only way you can overcome this. So if you want further guidance, I'm more than happy to help you further. So get in touch with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. So I'm really keen to help you as well. Coming the Sasanka says, so how to motivate ourselves. So well, so that's a difficult question, right? So motivation is an instinct. So sorry, I don't get that word. So it's kind of an internal thing that comes from your deep inside. So what you have to do is you need to start telling your brain that yourself that I need to do something. So you need to be clear. So one thing is, be clear about what you want to do. For example, uh, what is the motivation about? Is it about speaking? Is it about doing great in your career? Is it about something else? So you got to be clear on that. Once you're clear, one of the starting points that I suggest is start listening to the motivational speakers, right? They can change your mindset. Start listening to some of the people. I can give you some of the names. These are the people who actually changed my mindset as well. Number one, Tony Robbins. Listen to, there are thousands of videos by him. Or Praveen Frey, right? Type this name, Google, YouTube, search for this name, or Praveen Frey. Another name, Les Brown. Search for it. Les space Brown, Brown. So it's a great speaker. He can change you instantly. So these are three names, and if I may mention one more name, that's from our own country, Dhananjay Hettiarachchi. So look for some of the videos from him, and I'm sure you will get inspired sooner. All right. So with that, I'm going to quickly move into this. So I can see that you see the screen. So this is the personal Kanban that I personally use, right? You can see one of the task in the this week column. So before I adopted this Kanban, what I had was very simple. It helped, but not to a level where this helps me at this point. So these are the columns, these are the stages that I go through in terms of my priorities, right? Where do I start? Starting point is your goals. Now, remember, before you develop your Kanban, there are certain prerequisites that you have to go through. So if you watch my previous LinkedIn live streams or Facebook live streams, you can find that I have spoken about being clear what matters to you. Then I spoke about objectives and key results, how to come up with your personal goals and then define your key results. So once you're clear about them, put down your goals, objectives here, right? So these goals have to be specific. These goals have to be timely. Example, you can say by end of 2020, I want to be a professional singer, and I should be able to go and perform in a big stage. I should be able to earn a particular rate, let's say, $1,000 per hour. Yeah. Likewise, you got to put certain key results with your goal. So with that, the next thing that I want you to do is, so there's a creature on the roof. The next thing that I want you to do is put down another column called 3 months. Now, let's say my goal is to be a professional singer who earns 2,000 per hour. That's my goal. So in order to get there, the next thing that I have to define myself is, in the next 3 months, what do I have to do? So if I want to start earning by end of 2020, what should I do in my next 3 months? Again, this solves one problem that is very common to all of us. That's basically not being clear, right? And also thinking about the entire year. So don't worry about the 12 months. Be clear about what you want to accomplish within the 12 months, but pay more attention into the next 3 months. So in the 3 months, what do you need to do? So these are the steps that you need to do in the next 3 months in order for you to become a paid singer by the at the end of 2020, right? Hope this makes it clear. So you put that down here. So if there are multiple things that you may need to do it. Example, I might say I want to start going for a singing class, right? Pick a professional singer, and since I know there are a lot of singers based on what style of singing you do, whether it's Eastern or Western, you got to pick up the right instructor, coach. Yeah. Another thing that you may need to do is start practicing. Yeah. So start practicing. So now you can go a bit deeper in terms of practicing. You can have a breakdown in this column. You can say do vocal practices, the technicality of your voice, vocal. So that's one. Another is practice songs that you really like. Another thing. Then find out the local gatherings where you can go and perform. So likewise, there can be multiple things that you may want to do in the next 3 months. The only thing that you need to worry here at this point is to align yourself to your goals. So what you do in the next 3 months should be really, really aligned to your 12 months goal. That is being the paid singer in the next 12 months. Correct? So hope that is clear. Again, if you have any questions, put them in into the comment section. I can pick them up. Right. So the next thing. So now we are clear what I'm going to do in the next 3 months. The next thing that I want to think about is what do I do immediately in the next month? That is important. Why? Now, 3 months is too long. Now I'm going to think of the next month. What do I have to do in the immediate month, right? Coming month, coming 4 weeks. So that will give you more focus, because then you're going to focus more intensively into some of the really important activities, the priorities. So put those priorities in this column to do this month. The next one is this week. What do I have to do this week in order for me to go to that 12-month goal? 12 months is a long way to go. 3 months is somewhat closer, but again, it's big, right? 1 month, again, it's too much time. So I really can't go into intensive level of planning into the month, because there can be hundred of things, tens and twenties of things that you may want to do. So if you look at the week, it will be few things. For example, you see that this is in terms of lecturing. So what do I have to do this week? So it's just one thing that I have to do in terms of lecturing. So this is, again, one important thing that I can share you is this, right? Oh, sorry. So this is not this thing. So you can click on your card, right? Create a card there. When you go to there, you can create labels. Maybe in a later post, I talk about that and explain you how to use the Trello board effectively. So think about the week, look at the priorities, and then be clear what exactly you want to achieve in the next week. So I'm sure this is gonna do wonders in your life. This is the simple reason why I have been able to do so much in the last year. Particularly last year was one of the years I did the best possible work myself. That's because I paid a lot of attention of the effective ways of doing it, right? It's not just this is one of them. This is one of the crucial practices that I adopted myself, and I personally think this is going to really help you. That's why I thought of sharing this knowledge with you. All right, so then today, now look at the intensity of it. Look at how intensive your planning is, right? Now, before this, all what you had was to-do list. it will be at this level, right? So if you know there are 20 things that you need to do in 2020, I mean, that's okay, that's helping you up to a level, but that's not the right way of doing it. So we go into multiple levels. We started with the 12-month goal, we went into 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, and then today. So that's my priorities for the day. In terms of lecturing, what do I have to do? Right? So I do not have anything here. That essentially means I really don't have to worry about correcting this particular assignment immediately. But this is scheduled for early morning tomorrow. So I really don't have to worry at this point. That's why I have been able to do this webinar with you, having this particular priority in my to-do list. Get it? So this gives you a greater opportunity for you to operate efficiently. And then done. That's the easy thing, right? Once something is done, you move that to done. So, and also you can have a track of what you have done. And if you watch my social media, I managed to put down what I have accomplished within the year very easily due to this, right? I started, articulating and designing that post, which is one-page graphic, telling what I have been able to accomplish during 2019. That's because I had that track of it. Yeah. So try to do this, and I assure that you will definitely do absolutely great. All right. So since time is running, I'm gonna quickly talk about this as well. Right, one bonus tip that I want to provide you here, which will not take so much time, is time boxing. This is one of the bigger problems that most of you may have. You have bigger dreams, bigger goals, bigger priorities, but you do not have a time constraint. Get it? And I'm gonna share. Sorry, I'm gonna stop the sharing, and then you see me much clearly. All right. So, what is about time boxing? Time boxing is simply meaning you're gonna allocate a defined time or a time dedicated to the activities that you want to do. Example, what you saw there in that Kanban is simply time boxes. So what were the time boxes, right? We started with 3 months time box. Then we went into 1 month time box. When we went into 1 week, and then 1 day, it's today. So what it does is it gives you a capability to focus intensively, focus very well, because you really don't have to worry about 3 months ahead because it's in the plan. But your worry at this point is today. If you get the work done, that you're supposed to do, that you're trying to do today, you're perfectly all right. Then when it comes to tomorrow, then again you're focusing on the activities that you have to do tomorrow. That's it, right? But before you get in there, you need to have a clear vision, your clear roadmap, a set of steps that you need to take in order to reach at your daily priority or list of priorities. So that's what it does. So what a time box is, it's a time limit that you put around your priorities and say, I'm going to get the work done within a week. And then you start thinking, what can I get done within the 1 week time box? What can I get done within 1 month time box? What can I get done within today? So that gives you more control over what you can do about your priorities. Got it? And also it will allow you to break down your big priorities into smaller, more granular, actionable work. So that will allow you to move fast, right? So this is the simple strategy that I use to develop as a professional, develop as a keynote speaker, develop as a coach as well, right? And I still use it. So daily basis, I have clear priorities that I have to do. So I work on it, and then I know what I have to do in the next week, next month, next 3 months, and next year. So that clarity is absolutely crucial. So it allows you to keep yourself focused to accomplish your priorities. Remember that. So this simply follows a theory called temporal motivation theory that shows that time constraints are a critical component of getting the work done efficiently. So if you do not have a time constraint, it's so tough for you to focus, right? That's why most of you would just wait for the last few days to get some work done. Yeah. So whether it's a project, whether it's your personal work, that's always how it works, right? So when you put a time box and decide these are the priorities I have to get done, you focus more intensively, and that's the most effective way of looking at the constraints and mitigating the risks and constraints. Yeah. So it will also allow you to fail fast. That means if you put down a time box saying I'm going to try this in the next week, next month, next 3 months, than just saying I have 12 months to become the best speaker, right? I mean, it's much, much, much different. Think about it, right? So you have 12 months to become the best speaker. So why do you worry about at this point? But if you say, I have one priority that is aligned with my goal, that is to become the best speaker in this country, best singer in this country, that gives you more focus, that allows you to inspect and adapt to what's happening around you. For example, you want to be the best singer, you go to a gathering, you start singing, you fail. Now is the perfect situation. Nothing to worry, because it's just what has happened is you have just failed in one of your daily priorities. That's it. So how do you correct yourself? Focus on the same improvements next time, next day, tomorrow, right? If you have another event to go and perform, why not you correct that mistake there? So that allows you to go faster, learn faster. This is called fail fast, right? So these time boxes will allow you to try out the things faster, therefore fail if it needs to fail, and then inspect and adapt to those failing situations. So that will give you more power, more control on what you want to do. So that's basically what I want to discuss today. I hope this was useful for you. If you are just looking at the replay, I want you to just type hash replay so that I know that you look at the replay. And if you were part of a live session, type hash live so that I also know that you watch my live streaming. So I can take up a few more questions if you need, but this is pretty much it. This is pretty much what I wanted to share with you today. So let me just have a look at the comments. So somebody, Isuru Dilhan, shared the video. Thanks a lot for this. Appreciate it. I can tell you, there's no doubt that this can help your colleague, this can help your family, this can help you people in your network. So please do share if you are watching the live session or if you are watching the replay, because these are the contents that I said. These are the contents that any agilist, any coach said, right? So I'm giving you this free, and I want you to get the best out of it. And if you adopt one of these strategies, feel like you're making a great move, great progress, do let me know. You just DM me, inbox me, because that's a great pleasure that I can get to know. All right. So again, this is basically it. Let me have one more round of look at the LinkedIn. So I'm not being able to look at the comments. So let me have a look at that here. I'm just having a look at the LinkedIn post. All right. Okay, so still I can't see any comments. Yeah. Facebook. So this is the last look at. Okay, so there are quite a few comments. Let me see. Let me see whether I have answered all of it. Yeah, so I spoke about public speaking, how to overcome the fear. Then the motivation. So my suggestion on the motivation is to start thinking what do you want to become yourself, and you need to tell your brain, you need to tell yourself many times until you really believe that you can do what you want to do, right? And at the same time start listening to motivation speakers. Some of them would be Dhananjay Hettiarachchi, Tony Robbins, or Praveen Frey, uh, or Jim Brown. Jim Brown is another. Les Brown. These are some of the great people. So I also talk about the same. So you may have look at my social media. So I have a lot of motivation speeches that I have been able to share. So have a look at them, and I think it's an attitude. The motivation starts with your attitude. So you've got to adjust your attitude first, and then start trying what you want to become. And sooner you see some good results, you'll be motivated enough, and you need to just keep going, right? That's the same reason I would do all these things what I do. That's the same reason why any great person would go beyond their comfort zones to do what they want to do, right? So keep pushing. All right, so Vikram, thanks for the question. The Kanban tool that I proposed here is Trello, www.trello.com. So it's kind of a paid version, but you can do quite enough work in the free version. So you really don't have to subscribe initially. But if you get the paid version, it has more features like creating the swim lanes even. So another tool that I suggest is kanbantool.com, www.kanbantool.com. So that was a suggestion from my colleague, Agile coach Rumesh Vijaytunga. So Rumesh, thank you for sharing that. So I'm sharing the same with you guys. So there are enough tools. If you look at internet, there are multiple tools, right? If you can afford to pay about $10 per month, you can also use Jira. Jira Cloud version, which is great. It has more controls, more abilities than any of these tools. If you want to use something physical, Vikum, my suggestion is do it physically. So if you listen to my talk, I spoke about this a bit earlier. So you may have a look at the replay. So I'm talking about creating your Kanban board in your personal space, whether it's your master bedroom or your office room. That will really help, because the visualization, if you can see it physically, that's the best. Yeah. So I also have provided the links in this particular post. So have a look at it. It will take you to my Google Drive, and from there you can download 2 templates that I have provided. First one is a Kanban, and the next thing is Kanban tool. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you. Wickham, all right. Yeah, so my pleasure. It's been a pleasure to help you. Glad that you like it. All right, so with that, I'm gonna end the session for the day, and I hope this was useful. So I'll see you next time, and until I see you next time, please keep in touch. Should you have any help, get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to work with you, help you grow in 2020. Until then, until I see you next time, take care.